talk about what we have new first. A lot of you have already seen our 3-yard quilt bundles. Like Cindy said, we're getting quite a few of them. We keep making new ones all the time. I just see more fabric or somebody will say, go look at that one. And then when we put it together, we really like them. And certain people in here has been making several of them, and so it's so fun to get to see them done, made into a quilt. In the bundles, there's a pattern in here, the one that I created, but there's also a lot of other 3-yard quilt patterns you can use. Let's see, there's a whole bunch of books that these ladies have made that are all 3-yard quilts. On the back, they show you different ones. So you get a lot of selection in them. And they're quick, easy. How long can you do one, Dawn? How long does it take? A couple hours and you can do one? A lot of them, 2-3 hours you can do one. So they're fast, easy. I like them because you can make a lap quilt out of them, or you can make a baby quilt. Like this one would make a great baby quilt.
I need that. I'm fixing that.
You need that? Well, I think they're so neat. You give them as showers. Dawn hasn't done this one yet, but I know she has it to do. I can't wait to see it done with the horses in there. I think that's going to be really cute. There's a lot of neat ones that you can do just with the 3 yards. Then we have this cute little panel that's new. This came from Northcott. And isn't that pretty? Get all the color in there. You've got a lot of choices of fabrics you can put with it because you've got all that color in there. So there's that. Have y'all seen the new rulers that we got from Eleanor Burns? These are the half square up rulers. They have the little slits in there you can cut your little dog ears off with. This is the large one. We have the small one and the large. I normally just use the smaller one for everything I square up, but these will do, the big ones will do them all. But those are nice and handy. And then we're getting new patterns, the BQ2. This is an old one that I've had before, but I got it in. And this happens to be my favorite one. But there's a bunch more. We sold several of them, but we're going to get new ones in. That, what has she gone up to, like 8? BQ8 or something. A lot of different ones. Okay, and I'll talk about that other fabric over there later. There is a calendar new too, but we've got stuff back here. If y'all follow these cartoon characters, it's all about fabric and stuff on the back. So those are new. They were supposed to be here the 1st of January and we just got them, so anyway. Okay, let's see what else is on my list. Okay, I want to remind you too of the new block of the month. This one starts in what month?
April.
April. I heard somebody say it this morning. This is the first block I did right here. Come in, there's a chair right there. I don't know whose coat's on it, but you can sit there.
I think it's mine.
Oh, is it yours? Okay. All right, you can sit there. This is the first block I did in the blue tones, but somebody said they wanted to see more of the corals and the reddish colors that are mixed in there. There's not a lot of these, but a few of the corals and reds in there. But this is the first block in the book. And all of them will have this same blue around there, and they'll have these going around. And we'll do it as we go, so you won't have to be at the end of the quilt trying to do all these little flowers and the edging. So we'll do that as we go. I can't wait to start that one. I think it's going to be fun for everybody to see. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's not hard. Just a little bit of work. Okay, we got that. And then my daughter-in-law's been working on my website a lot lately. I can't keep up with her. But she has an online sale that she's marked for me on there. So it had all of our sales mixed in with the fabric if you got on there at the beginning. But she's gone and reworked it and figured out how to put the sales stuff all in one place. So if you want to go and just look at the sales stuff, just plug in sale and it'll pull it up for you. And there's some Moda fabrics and things like that for $8 a yard on there. I know I saw some of that. And we're probably going to mark and have some sales on the kits too. And we have a lot of kits on there. If y'all want to see what kits and panels we have, you can just go on there and look and scroll through, because we have almost all of them listed on there now. She's been working on that. So the online sale, I don't know how long it'll last, but we've got it on there now for, it's been on there about a week, so we'll probably keep it another week. If you want to look at it and get some of that good fabric. I have been working on series of quilts I've had them started for some time, and I'm just trying to see some of them come into fruition. How is the word said? Fruition. Okay. One of them is a pattern my grandmother did. And so what I've been doing is taking old patterns and putting a new twist on them. And so some of the ones she made, I thought I just want to try out and see how hard they are, or using our modern techniques, how does it change it up? So here's the first one. It's a big quilt, so I'm going to hang it, and then I'm going to take it down and lay it in there so you can look at it later if you want to. And y'all can tell me what the name of the pattern is when I get it up. Okay. Like I said, it's big. It's going to take me a second. I'm going to put it on this hanger here, which is easy to do, but it takes a bit. All right. Of course, you know I have to do my colors in this because I want to keep it now. I think this ended up being a large queen, about 95 by 95.
Wow. There's Drunkard's Path.
Is that it, Brenda? Drunkard's Path. You're right.
One time.
Okay, let's go a little further and tell me who made the fabrics.
Okay.
Fabrics, yes.
You can tell by looking
I had a bundle, and I picked and chose basically the ones I kind of wanted to use in it. So I had some extra, and I just gravitate towards these purples and blues, and I even like some of the teal greens and stuff in there. But yes, this is a pattern my grandmother made, and it was a Drunkard's Path. I have looked up, do y'all know why it was called Drunkard's Path?
because you can follow it. I mean,
Basically, there wasn't any real information on that except it got its name because you couldn't follow it. But have you ever seen one ones I've quilted have been red and white almost every time. I did quilt a blue and white one time, but it wasn't mixed like this. So what I did was I took the Drunkard's Path pattern and used the modern K fabric on it, and it's put together the same way they do a lot of the traditional Drunkard's Path. But with that fabric, it just looks mixed up and different. This is the pattern I used. It has templates in it.
oh, cool.
So I was looking for the modern way. My grandmother would not have had these. She didn't have the rotary cutter. In fact, I inherited some of her patterns, and they were made on old paper sacks. So that's how she set them down, pinned them, cut them out, and that.
Wow.
But with this, we could cut them out really fast. So I used this one, and I'll show you the other one. There's two choices that I think and I recommend. Either one of them would be good. This one, you can see it's made different. It's got an in, and this one has two outers, see?
Yeah.
But they'll work the same way. This one has a convex and concave both, and then it has the little nicks here where you can mark them and cut those curves if you want to. Now, I experimented, and I didn't use that one. I decided to use this one. The reason I decided to use this one is it has a lot of different choices in here. You don't have to just do this traditional pattern. So I like that. Plus, things I liked about it was I like the outer curve to cut. To me, with a cutter, and I've tried different sizes, I use mostly this cutter because it's my favorite. But going on the innies, it's a little harder to do. Going on the outies, you can go around those fast. So, let's see, I've got mine open here already. All right, so here's my book, and this is the block. Can y'all see that in the quilt? That's the block I used over and over. There's 16 of them. I did 4 wide and 4 down. So let's see if I can show you. Is that the block right there? That's it right there. So that's one block. You see you get a little spin in the middle when you do that on each one of them. So I did 4 wide and 4 down of just that right there. Now it's like a puzzle. Each block I laid out, and I had to do the fan. I had to watch where the negative space is and where the solid, where the print was. to lay it out. It was like a puzzle, 16 individual little puzzles to put out. But it was fun. I really, really enjoyed making this quilt. Okay, how many of you have worried about doing curves? Everybody's got curves down? Well, I've had to practice at curves to make sure they lay flat or you don't get little puckers in them and that you get your seams all the same. That's a little bit of a challenge. But this was not hard. Okay, so what I did, you can cut strips of fabric. I used fat quarters on this, so I cut my fat quarters in strips, depending on what size. Another reason I like this ruler, you can do a 6 to a 7 inch piece. On this one, it's 8 only.
Oh, yeah.
So I had more of a choices on this one. So you lay your fabric out, whatever piece you're doing. You have, and I labeled mine an inner. This is the one that's going to make the inner, and this one's the outer. The only problem with doing this one, you're going to have waste more than you would the other one. You could crowd this one together a little more, but when you cut this one out, you're basically cutting a large quilt like this and a smaller one out. I'll show you that in a second. So you have a little waste with this one. But I knew that I wanted to do 2 anyway, so I enjoyed that. So, but this is the inner and this is the outside. So I marked them. They are marked with letters, an F and an E on this one, so you know. But you just lay those down and start cutting them. You can stack them up, your strips that you've cut, or one place recommend you cut in squares and stack them up and do it. You can do that. I just did mine in strips, and you lay them on, and you just take, I'm not going to cut this one because I'm on my table here, but you just take it and cut it. Well, these you're cutting round, so it cuts really fast. Okay, so you're going to come up with 2 pieces. You're going to have this piece in the print, and this piece is the background. So that would be this one right here. That one right there. See that?
I do now.
But then you're going to have another one that would be this with the print background. So that would be this one. That's the only 2 that you have.
Gotcha.
So you stack up these with the light center and you sew those all together. And you stack up these with the print center and you sew those all together. Okay, I just sewed one that I have not pressed or squared up. There's that one. So let me show you how easy this I thought it was. And the more you practice these, the easier it gets. So I just take mine and press with my fingers. My mother helped me do a few, and she took hers to the ironing board. You can see this one's pressed with an iron. You can see it a little better. So if you want to just spend the time there and iron it, or you can pinch it. Both pieces. Just quickly, you lay this side inside that piece. And the only way to do a great curve, I think, is pinning. It's the only way. I tried doing some without because I watched a video on somebody that was not pinning. She made it look easy, and I thought, I'll try that. The more I tried it, the more off they got. So I just took the time. You let it cup and keep the edges straight. Pin. Have you made these?
Have to hold a little higher.
I will. Okay, let me get a pin in and I'll show you.
I know I'm getting there.
So I definitely do one in the middle, one on the end, and I do one there. You may not have to pin that much, and after you get used to it, you may not have to. But you're going to take and force those ends to line up together there. Put a pin in it. I usually use thinner pins than what I've got today because I try to just sew over them instead of taking them out every time. But if you need to pull them, you can. So you just take your fingers, work it in there till it's flat. Now, I also watched several things, and down through the years, some people say you go the convex side down. Some people concave side down. So I think when I've done it, I've worked and done better with the curvy side down, like this, because it'll roll and you can keep it flat. Just keep going. Because when you make a quilt like this, you're going to make quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And I do not have a pattern for this because if you buy and want to do it, you can buy one of these templates that has that picture in there, and that's about all you need. The back shows you how to cut those, but you know, just the picture of that block right there is all you need basically to make that big one there. Okay, so then you just take it. You don't have to clip all those edges. I haven't had any. Here's some I've pressed without doing the clipping. They will lay flat. So
That's impressive.
it works. You just got to play with it a little bit. I think you've just got to pin. I haven't seen anybody that lays really flat and good if they don't try to pin. It's just something you have to take time for on this one. I bet my grandmother pinned that to sew it. And so then after you get your pieces done, I use this 5.5-inch square up ruler and squared them up to 5.5 for my smaller quilt. Not for this one, but for my smaller quilt, I squared up with this. This one I squared up with the one that's larger than this, which 6.5 one I have at home. Yeah, that's what that one ended up being. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take this down and show you the smaller one. After doing this, I kind of like the smaller one better. I don't know. I love this, and I don't want to get rid of this one. I like it because I didn't use a white background. Everything my grandmother did, she just about had to use a white background. For sheet, maybe. I don't know what she used. So all those were light, and I'm trying to get away from some of the white backgrounds and doing some different color in there. I almost thought about trying to do a navy, but I was afraid my color wouldn't show up enough. So, but anyway, there's a lot of choices I probably could have done. The back, I used this teal color in there, and then I bound it with the favorite piece, which is that leafy one. Where is it? Right here. Y'all can see that. There's more up there. I'll show you the other one in a minute and you'll see some more of the color, but isn't that a different take on
I
that?
like that better.
You see the block is right here, so I did 2 wide and 3 down. And that was leftover stuff from this. Squared it up to the 5.5, and they just sew together just perfectly because you've got them. And there's not any puckers in these, and I'm not an expert at it. I haven't done any curves in quite a while until I started back doing this again. So the curves are doable, y'all. They're doable.
Is that your new quilt pattern? Yes.
This is one of my new quilting patterns, yes. It's a swirl that's like a ribbon, and then it has a feather coming around in it. It's hard to see on that, and I know you can't see it on the back at all, so
No.
that won't help you any. But right there, you can see it coming around. But I've got, I don't know, 6 or 7 new quilt patterns, and that's one of them. Okay, I was going to, here it is. So if you want to buy a template to make this quilt, you can make both of these using this one book. The patterns are in here. There's other ways. You can sew them together and then cut them. You can see that technique in here. See that? It's sewn together with 2 different colors and then curves sewn. This is the one I used. This is all I had was right there. See that picture? To make this, and I just thought that was so neat, the way that swirled around there. So this book kind of gives you a lot of different options, so you get your pattern and those templates together. This one does not have anything other than this little book here with it for the 8-inch, but it does make the block, these pieces, a little bigger than, of course, the first quilt are larger. We said that's 6.5, and these are the 5.5 because these were the leftovers from that one. Y'all understand that, right? Yeah, and so I still have a few pieces left over that I could do something else with. I even thought pillows like this would be cute. Or maybe even a table topper if you wanted to go that. But that's my modern take on it. I picked out this fabric right here. I love that fabric.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
And I love the teals to go with that. And what I do on the back. Oh yeah, it was that pretty print thing on the back. Anyway, that's fun. And I wanted a chance to do stuff with the cave bundle that I had. And that's what all these are. See, there's some case in here, bundles. These two here are. And then there is the tulip pink ones. I think would be really pretty in this quilt. There's a bunch of different colors of hers. And then what about ombre? Could you do that with an ombre bundle?
So,
I think you would get a totally different look. Either one of them. You could do either one of these with that, I think. And then, where's Michelle at? She didn't come back here. She said the black and white would be awesome.
Yep.
So she brought those back here. And then, see, this is a different, it's got a lot of the blues and the greens in it. Those, let's see. The bundles, the fat quarters seem to work the best for that. But I could see you doing it scrappy if you wanted to do the pattern scrappy. Okay, that's all I have. I just wanted to show y'all that curve and not to be afraid of curves. Because the more I did it, the more I enjoyed it. Getting back into it. So, yeah, I hope y'all will try that. It's fun. Modern take. Next time we're going to do a modern take on a different pattern. I'm not going to tell you which one, but we're going to do a modern take on a different one.
Well, you did good on that one.
I did? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all coming. We'll close off for today. I'm glad everyone tuned in, and y'all have a good day.